it was not for me. I didn't have a lot of freedom, and I was given so much busy work that it was just a chore every day to go into class, and I wasn't learning anything.
I really wasn't doing so well socially. I wasn't doing great academically. I just couldn't find my place.
There's a lot of pressure to like fit into what's perceived as normal, and there's a lot of pressure to compare yourself to others and put yourself to like a number, category, or percentile.
I would have hated sitting in a classroom for 4 years in public high school. It's not something that has ever invigorated me.
Midway through my junior year, I started feeling that I was slacking in the classes that I enjoyed the most, my science classes and my math classes, because I was just coasting, because I was really focusing on my history and my English classes, which was super uncomfortable for me, because I spent my entire life I've been fighting my dyslexia, and that made me really sad. And so I decided I would try for at least half a semester to go to NuVu.
NuVu's so different than other schools in almost every way, I think. Down to the most basics is NuVu doesn't have classes. We have studios instead of classes that run for 2 weeks instead of 45 minutes.
Sometimes it's designing for a client with a disability, or sometimes it's a partnership with a technology company, and it teaches the creative process.
My mom was like, there's a camp in Central Square, and I think you're gonna like it. And I was like, I don't wanna go to a camp full of nerds. And I was like, it's gonna be all super nerdy kids running around building stuff, and I didn't wanna be associated with that.
I came in to NuVu and I saw this like crazy flight simulator rig that apparently students had made, and I jumped in and it was swinging people around, and I didn't really think it was a school then. I was just like, this place is really weird and crazy.
I saw everybody working on really clean, like white plastic models and stuff with so many intersections and lines and notches. And I remember saying this to my dad, like, I could never make something that looks like that.
I decided that pretty much the minute I walked in the door that I wanted to be here. It was just a matter of convincing my parents and figuring out the external academics that I had to take.
Originally, I decided that I was gonna try 1 semester here because my parents were a little unsure about putting me into this non-accredited school system. And after the first 2 weeks or something, I knew that I was gonna be there for at least the year. And then at the end of the year, I had a conversation with my parents and decided that this was gonna be where I did high school.
My first year was, I never had any close friends, but I never really felt isolated or alone. And going my second year there, I started to develop. That's when I met Jacob, and I remember meeting him when we were both really little, and he snuck up under the table in the shop and kept stealing my drill from the shop drawer.
I needed a drill too, and back then NuVu didn't have a billion drills. So whenever I saw that he wasn't looking, I ran up behind him, grabbed the drill, and ran away. And it was like 5 or 10 times in that one day. Obviously, he thought it was super annoying because he needed a drill, but that's really how our friendship started.
Over the course of the year, I started to know him really well, and then as my years progressed through NuVu, I've just started to pick up more and more friends, and I think it's really interesting because we've all come to NuVu from entirely different ways, but something about that brings us all to NuVu also brings us all together as friends.
We spend a lot of time in teams brainstorming. At least half of our time is just spent trying to come up with ideas for things that we'd like to work on. The rest of the time we spend with our coaches and with our teammates exploring those ideas and moving them forward.
We worked with a retirement home in JP, and we made a little device that helps an old woman stand up. And we actually made it. We made a pretty hack prototype, and we brought it to her, and we strapped it to her knee and turned it on when she was trying to stand up, and it actually helped her up. And it was like a pretty amazing experience.
We worked with an organization in Mexico, and basically we were trying to make some device that would make the lives of these children with cerebral palsy living in pretty low income situations in Mexico a whole lot easier. So me and my partner, Amir, came up with this solution to make this wheelchair that was built around the constraints of their situation. So it was super narrow, very low cost, only needed one tool to rebuild it, and was made mostly out of parts that you could find laying around from old bikes.
I've worked a lot with people with disabilities, and I think sort of working on those projects has always made me feel the most fulfilled, sort of, in that, like, when you create something that physically helps a person that you that you are interacting with, that is, like, I would say that's like the most rewarding kind of work that you can do here, because you see like that immediate effect of, like, they're doing something that they couldn't before.
NuVu has a partnership with the Kelvinside Academy in Glasgow, Scotland. And right now, me and a lot of the older returning kids are working on an art installation that we are going to be installing in the next couple of weeks in one of the main spaces in their school.
I've never been an artist in any sense of the word, really, and just creating something that is very conceptual and not at all, like, functional is very much not my comfort zone.
We kind of brought everyone together to create this feeling that would kind of coziness and warmth that could bring different people together. And if you have the space like a bonfire, you're kind of compelled to go towards it. And trying to create that feeling indoors was pretty challenging.
The installation consists of a field of these tall reeds with laser cut paper as the leaf, and it's a field of these things, and when you walk through them, they sort of sway but are self-righting because they have these concrete bases that can tilt. It's very stressful knowing that we literally have to finish this. A lot of other projects are sort of like, if you get the concept, if you get a good prototype, like, you're good and you can present. With this one, we are leaving in like a matter of days to go to Scotland, so we need everything packaged and ready to go. There's no wiggle room with this. But it's also, yeah, it's stressful.
The most challenging part was molding 630 pounds of concrete bases, and we obviously can't bring that on a plane, so we had to make it there. And we came there and they bought the wrong type of concrete, which we had tested here and we knew it was out of the question and didn't work. So kind of as a group all together trying to work to overcome what we already said wouldn't work no matter what was really stressful, but it was really interesting because that was mainly Jacob, Maddie, and Satchel working on that part of the project and fully understood it. But over those 4 days of crazy molding concrete, everyone else had their own ideas of how to get it to work. And I think with everyone waking up at 6:30 a.m. to go make pour concrete, we ended up making all 60 something of those. And then when we just stepped back and looked at the feeling we created, it was really crazy that we actually did it. And it worked like exactly what we wanted it to. We're all just hearing back now and realizing where we are going. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see going forward what becomes of this kind of tight group we've formed, and if people are going to Illinois for college or MIT, and how people are going to stay together, and if they are.
Right now, I'm choosing between Northeastern and Rose-Hulman. I mean, by the time this video is out, I'll probably have chosen by then, and I'll think that I'm silly at this point.
I want to do design first and foremost, but since I don't know where I'm going yet, I don't know what that will look like wherever I am. At one school, it could be engineering with a minor in art, or at another school, it could be a full-fledged design program.
Although my education path has been very weird, I wouldn't have chosen it to be any different. The path that I did take has gotten me to where I always dreamed of going, which is MIT. So I can't complain, and I've had a good time, and I've learned all the things that I wanted to learn.
I think I learned most just about myself, and just through growing up in this environment, I think I learned a lot about where I fit in this world and what I can do with my life.
I think I'll miss just this environment the most. NuVu is super weird. Like, this is one of a kind. Nothing else in the world exists like this. And I've gotten so fond and used to this place over the past 4 years. I think going back to like a normal school will make me just sad and bored comparatively.